Hey guys, my name is Aristotle. Welcome back to the channel. Hola from beautiful Lisbon. In this vlog, we take you with us through a city full of charm, history, and breathtaking views. From peaceful mornings to lively afternoons and golden sunsets, every moment felt like stepping into a story. We explored hidden corners, enjoyed scenic viewpoints, rode through historic streets, and tasted incredible local food and desserts. Along the way, we found cozy spots to relax, admired stunning architecture, and soaked in the vibrant energy of the city. Join us on this unforgettable journey as we experience the heart and soul of Lisbon. Before we continue this beautiful journey, make sure to like and subscribe. There's so much more ahead. Let's go! Our first stop was the breathtaking Praça do Comércio, also known as Commerce Square, which quickly became one of our favorite and most memorable spots in Lisbon. Located right along the shimmering Tagus River in the vibrant heart of the city, this grand and historic square immediately captivated us with its stunning golden yellow buildings, the majestic and ornate Arco da Rua Augusta, and the impressive equestrian statue of King José I at its center. We learned that it was meticulously rebuilt after the devastating 1755 earthquake and once housed the royal palace, making it a powerful symbol of Portugal's resilience and rich maritime heritage. We went early in the morning and it was a perfect time to visit. There were fewer people, the gentle morning light was soft and warm, and the square felt peaceful and serene. We also returned in the lively afternoon when it was much more crowded, buzzing with locals and tourists enjoying the energetic and colorful atmosphere. At night, the square transformed once again. The buildings were beautifully illuminated with warm golden lights that exquisitely highlighted the elegant architecture, creating a magical and inviting ambiance. It was a lovely place to simply sit, relax, and take in the enchanting surroundings. Seeing the arch glowing brilliantly with the lights made the experience truly unforgettable. Praça do Comércio truly felt like the vibrant soul of Lisbon, blending history, beauty, and local life all in one magnificent place. Now we are here at the Church of Our Lady of Grace, Igreja da Graça. And before we even stepped inside, what immediately took our breath away was the absolutely stunning view just outside. Perched high in the charming and historic Graça neighborhood, the scenic viewpoint beside the church offered a sweeping, picture-perfect panorama of Lisbon, stretching over the terracotta rooftops of Alfama, the iconic São Jorge Castle, and all the way to the shimmering blue Tagus River. Stepping into the church felt like entering a peaceful sanctuary filled with centuries of rich history. Originally built in the 13th century as part of an Augustinian monastery, it was gracefully rebuilt in the 18th century after the devastating 1755 earthquake, now showcasing a beautiful blend of Baroque and Rococo architecture. Inside, we found a calm and spiritual atmosphere with elegant chapels, intricate religious art, and stunning azulejo tiles that told powerful biblical stories and captured significant moments from Portugal's past. Before leaving, we also made our way up to the charming rooftop, which offered an even more breathtaking and elevated perspective of the city. Standing so close to the massive weathered church bell was a surreal and humbling moment. It felt like we were part of the history, high above Lisbon, enjoying a quiet and reflective pause above the city's vibrant rhythm. To make the experience even more magical, we were offered a delicious glass of Portuguese wine on the rooftop, which we sipped slowly while an unforgettable views. It was a peaceful, soul-stirring, and truly memorable experience that beautifully blended panoramic beauty, timeless architecture, and heartfelt culture. It was time for lunch, and we decided to eat at Lisbon Tu, a small tucked-away restaurant we found while exploring the charming streets of Alfama. It turned out to be one of the most memorable dining experiences of our trip. The name means you and me, and the atmosphere truly felt like that. Intimate, warm, and welcoming, as if we were dining in a local friend's home. The space was tiny, with just a handful of tables, and the walls were covered in handwritten notes, photos, and memories left behind by travelers from all over the world. We chose to sit outside, and it was really nice, peaceful, with a lovely view of the narrow street and the gentle buzz of locals passing by. It gave the place a nostalgic, soulful vibe that immediately made us feel at home. We ordered costeleta de novillo, grilled veal chop, and laiton à brasse, shredded suckling pig with eggs and potatoes, and every bite was flavorful, fresh, and cooked with love. We also ordered a glass of sangria, and it was surprisingly good, refreshing, fruity, and perfectly balanced. What made the experience even more special was the warm and genuine service. It wasn't just lunch, it was a moment of connection and authenticity, something you can't find in the typical tourist spots. Dining at Lisbon Tu felt like discovering a hidden gem, where great food, warm hospitality, and true local charm come together. Now we're heading to the National Tile Museum, and we took a bus to get there. At the entrance, we were greeted by a lovely garden filled with greenery and blooming flowers. It was a peaceful and welcoming sight that set the tone for the experience ahead. Visiting the museum, Museu Nacional do Azulejo, felt like walking through a beautifully preserved time capsule of Portuguese art and culture. Housed in a magnificent 16th century convent, the building itself was stunning, with ornate arches, peaceful cloisters, and a quiet, almost sacred atmosphere that made us slow down and soak it all in. As soon as we stepped inside, we were surrounded by the intricate beauty of azulejos, those iconic blue and white ceramic tiles that tell captivating stories of Portugal's rich past. Each room revealed a new visual delight, from Moorish-inspired geometric patterns to massive, breathtaking tile panels that depicted religious scenes, royal moments, and everyday life in historical Lisbon. One of the most impressive highlights for us was the remarkable 25-meter-long tile mural showing a detailed panoramic view of Lisbon before the devastating 1755 earthquake. It was absolutely mesmerizing. Another unforgettable moment was stepping into the museum's grand Baroque church. The interior was lavishly adorned with gilded woodwork and ornate tile panels, creating a dramatic and awe-inspiring contrast of light, color, and craftsmanship. We stood in silence, completely taken by its splendor. It truly felt like discovering a sacred hidden gem within the museum walls. After wandering through the beautifully curated exhibits, we ended our visit at the museum's cozy little cafe, nestled in a quiet courtyard. Surrounded by greenery and historic charm, it was the perfect spot to unwind with a cup of coffee and reflect on the artistic journey we had just experienced. The peaceful ambiance, extraordinary setting, and timeless beauty of the National Tile Museum made it one of our favorite moments in Lisbon, an inspiring blend of history, creativity, and soul. While wandering through the charming alleys of Alfama, we stopped for dinner at a Muralha Tasca Típica, a cozy and authentic Portuguese tavern tucked along a quiet street. With its quaint outdoor seating shaded by leafy vines and the soft buzz of local life around us, the atmosphere felt warm, inviting, and full of character. We decided to sit outside and soak in the peaceful ambiance. For our meal, we ordered polvo a lagarero, which came with perfectly grilled octopus, tender and smoky, drizzled with rich olive oil and garlic, served alongside crispy golden batatas amuro and fresh broccoli. We also tried their arroz de marisco, a flavorful seafood rice dish overflowing with juicy prawns, tender clams, and a fragrant tomato-based broth that was deeply comforting. Every bite tasted like a celebration of Portuguese coastal tradition. The service was friendly and relaxed, making us feel right at home. It was a delightful, soulful dining experience that captured the essence of Lisbon's local food culture. Unpretentious, delicious, and unforgettable. After dinner, we ended the night by watching a live Fado performance, and it was one of the most emotional highlights of our time in Lisbon. We didn't want to forget to watch Fado while we were here, and we're so glad we didn't. Fado is Portugal's traditional music, known for its deep, soulful melodies and heartfelt lyrics that express themes of longing, love, and saudade, the unique Portuguese feeling of nostalgic yearning. The small venue was dimly lit and intimate, with candles on each table and stone walls that echoed every note beautifully. We ordered some drinks to enjoy during the show, a chilled glass of white wine and a refreshing sangria, and they paired perfectly with the warm, moody ambiance. As the singer began, accompanied by the gentle strum of a Portuguese guitar, the entire room fell silent. We didn't understand every word, but the emotion in his voice was powerful and moving. It gave us goosebumps. Watching Fado at night in such a cozy, atmospheric setting made us feel deeply connected to the heart and soul of Lisbon. It was a poetic and unforgettable way to experience Portuguese culture. We started our morning by going to Miradouro de Santa Luzia, and it felt like the perfect way to begin the day. We had actually been here the afternoon before, but it was quite crowded, which is why we decided to come back early in the morning, and we're so glad we did. We arrived just in time to catch the sunrise, and it was absolutely magical. As the first light broke over the horizon, it bathed the city in a soft golden glow. The red rooftops of Alfama lit up, the Tagus River sparkled gently, and the quiet streets below slowly came to life. It was a peaceful, almost dreamlike moment that we'll never forget. The terrace itself was just as beautiful as the view. We sat under a charming pergola draped in bougainvillea, with tiled benches and flower beds surrounding us. It was peaceful, colorful, and full of character. We took our time walking around, admiring the historic azulejo tile panels on the church wall. One showed Lisbon before the 1755 earthquake, and another depicted the conquest of São Jorge Castle. These blue and white scenes added a quiet sense of history to the romantic setting. The sound of trams passing below echoed through the air, making the moment feel even more magical. Just a short walk up the street, we also visited Miradouro das Portas do Sol, another scenic viewpoint with a broader, more open view over the Alfama rooftops and the river. It was peaceful and quiet, with no people around, offering a stunning panorama that was equally breathtaking. The two viewpoints, so close together, gave us different but equally beautiful perspectives of Lisbon's charm. As the sun continued to rise and warm the city, the light brought everything to life. It was one of those peaceful spots where we could have stayed for hours, just enjoying the beauty around us. Visiting Miradouro de Santa Luzia and Portas do Sol wasn't just about the views. It was a gentle, unforgettable way to connect with the heart and soul of Lisbon. Because we were already at Miradouro de Santa Luzia, we took advantage of the nearby Tram 28 stop and decided to hop on for a ride. And it turned out to be one of the most memorable parts of our Lisbon trip. Riding Tram 28 through the streets of the city felt like stepping into a moving time capsule. We hopped on early in the morning to avoid the crowds, and it was the best decision. We were able to grab a seat and enjoy the ride without being packed in. The tram itself was full of vintage charm, with its polished wooden seats and classic yellow exterior. As we weaved through the narrow hilly streets of Alfama, Graça, and Baixa, we passed beautiful old buildings, charming neighborhoods, and iconic sites like the Lisbon Cathedral. The ride was a bit bumpy and jerky at times, especially during the sharp turns and steep climbs, but that added to the fun and authenticity of the experience. We held on tight, smiled at every unexpected jolt, and soaked in the views as the city unfolded outside the window. It was one of those unforgettable ways to see Lisbon, nostalgic, full of character, and a little bit thrilling. If you're visiting the city, riding Tram 28 is a must. Now we moved on to the magnificent Jerónimos Monastery, and when we arrived, there was a long line. We waited around 45 minutes to get in. Visiting this iconic site turned out to be one of the most memorable and awe-inspiring highlights of our time in Lisbon. As we approached the grand ornate facade, we were immediately struck by the exquisite details of the Manueline architecture. A uniquely Portuguese style filled with maritime motifs, twisted columns, and intricately carved stonework. The building itself is immense and majestic, with elegant cloisters and graceful arched corridors that felt both peaceful and timeless. Walking through the monastery, we were surrounded by the earthy scent of old stone and the soft sound of footsteps echoing through the halls. We took our time exploring the breathtaking cloisters, which were so symmetrical, delicate, and serene that we just stood there for a moment, soaking in the beauty. It was truly moving to be in a place so deeply tied to the country's rich history and cultural identity. Every detail, from the ornate stone carvings to the gentle light filtering through the windows, made our visit feel both inspiring and sacred. Inside, it wasn't crowded at all, which made the experience even more enjoyable and peaceful. Waiting 45 minutes was absolutely worth it. They carefully control the number of people allowed in at a time, creating a more intimate and reflective atmosphere. Jerónimos Monastery isn't just a historical monument, it's an architectural masterpiece and an absolute must-see when visiting Lisbon. After exploring Jerónimos Monastery, we walked just a few steps to the famous Pastéis de Belém, and the smell of freshly baked pastries was already drawing us in. Inside, the cafe felt lively and full of character, with its traditional blue and white tiled walls and bustling atmosphere. We found a seat and ordered the legendary pastéis de nata, and also decided to try a sandwich, which was simple but delicious. Fresh bread, flavorful fillings, and just what we needed after a long morning of exploring. When the pastries arrived, still warm from the oven, we knew we were in for a treat. The flaky, golden crust was perfectly crisp, and the creamy custard filling had just the right balance of sweetness and richness. We sprinkled a little cinnamon and powdered sugar on top, took a bite, and honestly, it was heavenly. There's something special about enjoying them right where the original 1837 recipe was born. It wasn't just a pastry, it was a delicious little moment of Portuguese tradition, and one we'll always remember. After enjoying our time at Pastéis de Belém, we walked toward the river and came across the striking and monumental monument to the discoveries. Seeing it up close was truly impressive. The structure is towering and beautifully sculpted, standing proudly like the prow of a grand ship facing the shimmering Tagus River. We paused for a moment to admire the intricate and detailed carvings on the stone. On both sides, you can see dozens of heroic Portuguese explorers, navigators, and visionaries, all led by the iconic Prince Henry the Navigator at the front. It felt like a powerful and dignified tribute to Portugal's glorious age of exploration, and we couldn't help but imagine the bravery it must have taken to venture into the unknown centuries ago. At the base of the monument, the massive compass, rose, and elaborate world map on the pavement caught our eye, an artistic and educational feature that shows the global roots of Portuguese discoveries. The entire experience was both inspiring and humbling, a vivid reminder of Portugal's adventurous spirit and deep maritime legacy. Now we move on to the iconic Belem Tower, making our way along the scenic riverside after admiring the monument to the discoveries. Seeing it in person was incredible. The tower looked like something out of a storybook with its ornate stonework, watchtowers, and castle-like charm. Built in the early 1500s, this fortified structure once served as a ceremonial gateway to Lisbon and a point of defense along the Tagus River. We took our time walking around it, taking in its beautiful Manueline architecture, detailed carvings, and the way it seemed to rise gracefully from the water at high tide. The atmosphere around the tower was peaceful, with the sound of the river gently lapping against its base and seagulls flying above. Standing there, we could imagine the Portuguese explorers who would have seen this same tower as they left on their voyages centuries ago. It was both picturesque and historically rich, a moment where the past felt very present. Belem Tower isn't just a symbol of Lisbon, it's a quiet reminder of the city's bold and adventurous spirit. After our visit to Belem Tower, we took a pleasant walk along the riverside path, enjoying the fresh air and relaxing views of the Tagus River. It was a calm and scenic stroll, with benches, bike paths, and the soft sound of the water beside us. A short while later, we arrived at the ultra-modern MAAT, the Museum of Art, Architecture, and Technology. The building itself immediately caught our attention with its futuristic curves and sleek, wave-like design that seemed to rise right out of the promenade. We didn't go inside, but we spent time admiring the stunning architecture, which is just as much a piece of art as the exhibitions within. We walked along the rooftop, which offers a breathtaking panoramic view of the Tagus River and the 25th of April Bridge, a perfect spot for photos and a relaxing break with the breeze. Even without entering, MAAT gave us a glimpse into Lisbon's modern creative spirit, offering a unique contrast to the historic sites we had explored earlier. It was a peaceful and inspiring stop that highlighted the city's beautiful blend of old and new. We kept walking along the river and came across Fish Belém. We decided to stop for a glass of wine and enjoy the beautiful, panoramic view of the river. the 25 de Abril Bridge, and the sanctuary of Christ the King in the distance. The atmosphere was so relaxing and the view was truly stunning. Perfect for a quiet break. While we were sitting and soaking in the scenery, it was such a nice surprise to see a cruise ship slowly passing under the bridge. It made the whole moment feel even more special and peaceful. We kept walking to see the 25th of April bridge up close, and it was truly impressive. It reminded us of the Golden Gate Bridge with its bold red color and sweeping design. Stretching across the Tagus River, it connects Lisbon to Almada and adds an iconic touch to the city's skyline. We admired it from the riverside in Belem, especially as a cruise ship passed underneath. The view was stunning and made the moment feel truly special. Now we went back to Alfama, and while exploring its charming streets, we stumbled upon a cozy little spot called Medrosa d'Alfama, and it turned out to be one of our favorite finds. We decided to sit inside, where the space felt warm, rustic, and full of character, with wooden details and a relaxed, intimate vibe. We ordered the Tabua Mar and Terra, a delicious board combining flavors from the sea and the land, along with their famous sangria, which was incredibly refreshing. Probably the best we had during our time in Lisbon. Every bite was simple, fresh, and packed with authentic Portuguese flavor. There was no rush, just good food, good conversation, and the cozy feeling of being tucked away in one of Alfama's hidden gems. Medrosa d'Alfama may be small, but it's full of charm, character, and unforgettable bites that made us want to stay just a little longer. Now, we are on our way to the Sanctuary of Christ the King. From Alameda, we took a boat across the river, then hopped on a bus, and finally walked a short distance to reach the monument. The journey itself was a nice experience, offering scenic views along the way and building up the anticipation. When we arrived, seeing Cristo Rey up close was truly awe-inspiring. The statue is massive. Standing with open arms on top of a towering pedestal, it looks out over the city as if blessing all of Lisbon. Inspired by the famous Christ the Redeemer in Rio, it was built as a sign of gratitude for Portugal being spared during World War II. We walked through the peaceful grounds, passing the Stations of the Cross, before heading up to the top of the monument. Standing right beneath the feet of the statue, the view was absolutely incredible. From up there, you get a sweeping 360-degree view of Lisbon, the 25th of April Bridge, the glittering Tagus River, and even the distant hills of Sintra. The wind was strong, the air was fresh, and everything felt calm and quiet, like a peaceful escape above the city. At the bottom of the monument is a spacious open plaza with great photo spots and plenty of room to relax and take in the scenery. The setting felt both spiritual and scenic. Cristo Rey offered us not just breathtaking views, but a truly meaningful and memorable experience. Now we are on the way to Eduardo VII Park. We took a bus, and along the route, it crossed the iconic 25 de Abril Bridge, which was such a memorable part of the journey. Riding across this massive red suspension bridge gave us an amazing view of the Tagus River. It was a beautiful and unique experience, and it made the ride feel like part of the adventure. When we arrived at Eduardo VII Park, we began walking along its wide, symmetrical paths, lined with beautifully trimmed hedges and trees. As we reached the upper part of the park, we passed a beautiful water feature with shallow pools and fountains that reflected the sky and added a calming sound to the surroundings. It made the top of the park feel especially peaceful and refreshing. At the upper viewpoint, we were treated to a breathtaking panorama of Lisbon, stretching all the way down Avenida da Liberdade to the Tagus River, with the city and even distant hills in the background. The monument honoring the Carnation Revolution brought a touch of history to the moment. Eduardo VII Park was the perfect spot to take a break from the busy city, peaceful, scenic, and full of charm. Whether you're there for a picnic, a walk, or just to enjoy the view, it's a place where you can slow down and truly appreciate Lisbon's beauty. We were ready to eat dinner, so we made our way to the vibrant Time Out Market in Cais do Sodré, one of Lisbon's most exciting food destinations. Housed in the historic Mercado da Ribeira, this massive food hall brings together over 40 carefully selected restaurants, bars, and shops under one buzzing roof. The moment we stepped in, we were hit with the delicious aromas of Portuguese cuisine and surrounded by a lively crowd gathered around communal tables. We ordered fresh and flavorful seafood at Susana Felicidade's stall, which was incredibly delicious. Perfectly cooked, tender, and bursting with authentic flavors that truly captured the taste of the ocean. For drinks, we enjoyed both wine and refreshing sangria, which complemented our meal perfectly. We also got some desserts, which were absolutely amazing, rich, flaky, and the perfect sweet ending to our feast. To top off the experience, we soaked in the energetic vibe of the market, filled with laughter and occasional live events that showcase Lisbon's vibrant culture. Time Out Market felt like a celebration of Lisbon itself, delicious, welcoming, and full of life. Now we are on the way to the iconic Ler Devagar, one of Lisbon's most unique and magical bookstores, located inside the creative hub of LX Factory. As soon as we stepped inside, we were struck by the atmosphere. It felt like walking into a dream for book lovers. The space is massive, with high ceilings and walls lined with endless books, both new and secondhand. One of the first things that caught our eye was the whimsical flying bicycle sculpture hanging above, floating gracefully in the air. The bookstore is filled with charm, from its vintage printing machines to small art displays tucked into every corner. We slowly made our way up the staircase, stopping to browse through shelves, admire local artwork, and soak in the peaceful vibe. The whole experience felt inspiring, like discovering a quiet, creative retreat in the middle of the city. Ler Devagar isn't just a bookstore, it's a place where literature, art, and imagination come alive. Now we're on our way to the Lisbon Cathedral, the city's oldest and most iconic church. As we approached, the grand Romanesque facade stood tall and timeless, with its twin bell towers and solid stone walls that have withstood earthquakes, wars, and centuries of history. Stepping inside felt like entering another era. The interior is peaceful and dimly lit, with high arches, Gothic details, and ancient stone columns that echo the past. We wandered through the side chapels and admired the beautiful stained glass windows casting soft colors onto the stone floor. One of the highlights was the cloister, where you can see archaeological ruins dating back to Roman and Moorish times. It was like uncovering layers of Lisbon's story in one sacred place. We also walked up to the balcony, which offered a unique view overlooking the main nave and gave us a whole new perspective of the cathedral's vast, majestic space. The Lisbon Cathedral isn't just a religious site, it's a living piece of history, and standing within its walls gave us a quiet moment to reflect on how much the city has endured and evolved over the centuries. That's it from here in Lisbon. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. My next adventure takes us to beautiful Barcelona, Spain. Stay tuned.